Hey everyone, Captain Chemo back again for another video tutorial. This one is going to be very fast and I'm going to show you how I created this video, or this photo. And I created this photo from this one image here. So this is where we start from and this is where we're going to end. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this exposure here and I'm going to tone map it in Photomatix. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're in Photomatix now and I have the photo open in the tone mapping window. And we are in the default preset. The preset we're going to start from is photographic, so I'll go ahead and click that and start from there. And we are going to just drop down the brightness a little bit and then bring up the tonal compression and the contrast adaptation. I'm going to bring those two up and just play around with it, and it looks good right about there. So this was the before, and then this is the after. And I like tone mapping using Photomatix, especially in tone compressor, because it gives really deep, rich colors. And that's pretty much it for this this particular photo. And I'll just hit the process button, and then I'm going to save it and open it in Photoshop. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll go ahead and go into Photoshop. Okay, so here's our photo that we just tone mapped, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the layer here, and I'm going to run Topaz denoise. So I'm just going to run Topaz denoise real fast, and I'm doing this really just to smoothen out the pixel a little bit. So I'll just hit use the JPEG strong preset and hit OK. Okay, so now that we've denoised the image, I am going to duplicate this exposure and I am going to blur the image with motion blur to smoothen out the foreground here in the water, and that'll just make it look pretty dramatic, really cool. So I'm going to do that with the filter here and go into blur and motion blur. So I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to go all the way here. Here's your slider here. I'm just going to go all the way, and you can see it looks really cool down here. So I'm going to hit OK, and this is the before, and then this is the after. But we don't want it to affect the sky, so what I'm going to do is I am going to add a layer mask here, and I'm going to use the gradient tool over here. Make sure it is on the black and white, the first preset here. Hit OK, and make sure you have your layer mask selected, and just click and drag right around here from the bottom up, and that'll create a mask, and it will only show the bottom of the blurred area here. So this is the before, and then this is the after. Next, I'm going to duplicate this layer, and then I'm going to create an overlay. And what this will do is just give the foreground color here in the water a really rich, deep look. But I don't want it that intense, so I'm just going to play around with the opacity. And it looks good at about 40%, so I'm just going to type in 40. So that's good. So we're pretty much almost done. I just need to fix this blown out area. I'm zoom in here. You can see like there's some whitish area here that doesn't look so nice. So I'm going to try to fix that, and the easiest way for me to fix it is simply just to create another layer. And what I'm going to do is I am going to use the eyedropper tool right here, and let's select that layer again, and we are going to just sample the color here. When you sample the color, you can see the foreground color will change. So if I sample here, it'll change to that color. So what I want is that yellowish color, and that's good. So I'll select that layer again, that top layer, the new layer that we created, and I'm going to go into edit and fill. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it with the foreground color. So you can fill it with background or foreground. I'm going to fill it with the foreground color, and that's the yellow color that we use the eyedropper tool to select. So I'm going to hit OK, and then it'll fill this layer in with that yellowish color. But of course we don't want that. I'm going to change the transparency mode to darker color, and then you'll see here that it's filled in that white area. So I'll zoom in real fast to show you what it did here. So this is the before, and then this is the after. So it filled out that blown out area here, and that's it for this video. So we started from this photo here, and we got this final image. What we did was we created an HDR image. This is the HDR image from Photomatix, and then I just duplicated the layer here, used Topaz denoise to kind of smoothen out the pixels, and this is a blur effect here for the foreground, and I duplicated that foreground layer and used an overlay to give it more of a rich color. So this is the before and after here. And then to smoothen out those highlights or the blown out areas, I added some color using that yellowish color that we sampled from the image. So this is the before and this is the after. And that's it. I hope you managed to get something out of this. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to visit CaptainKimo.com to see my daily photos. And if you want to learn more about Photomatix and how I use it in my workflow, I do have more information there, and you can also find a trial download at my website at CaptainKimo.com. So until next time, this is Captain Kimo signing out.